Okay, let's see some of the systems administration tasks and services. Okay, someone is in a report and wants to schedule it to run in the background instead of foreground. They want to see when you say foreground, till the task gets finished, you can't do anything else in that session, right? And so typically, if you want to continue doing what you were doing, your work, you can run some of your tasks in the background and you can continue doing whatever you want. Okay, so there are some programs or reports that people would like to do it in the background instead of foreground. So by using background jobs. Okay. Someone wants to verify if a background job from the previous night has finished running or not. So most of these big jobs, they're scheduled in the background to run during the night time, because during the night time, the system load is less. So when in the morning you come and you want to check the logs, whether the job ran or did it error out. Someone wants to print something and wants to check on the spool, or they want to reprint the report. So background jobs, printing, two most critical areas of SAP. Okay. Why do you need to control background jobs? We'll see. Why do you need to control printing, print access, spool access? That we'll see. Okay. Before executing a certain process for the day, someone needs to ensure a file has arrived from an external warehouse or from a vendor. Okay. Files are stored in an operating system level, right? So somebody wants to check that. Now, not everybody has access to operating system level, but SAP gives you transaction codes to go take a look at it from SAP. Okay, you don't have to have the operating system access, but using some transaction codes, you can go and take a look. Like I see AL11. Using AL11, you can look at the directories of your operating system and see if the file is there or not. Okay. A buyer creates a purchase order, thus must immediately go out to a vendor. Okay, so these are some of the systems administration tasks that would be normally our user would perform, not in a SAP environment. So how do we secure some of these tasks? So securing background processing. Okay. Now, background jobs can be used for many different reasons, such as ERP runs, printing checks, reports for users, process data from external system, print invoices. Okay, so background jobs can be scheduled by the systems administrators, but there are other transaction codes where the user could be prompted to execute something in a dialog or in the background. If the user chooses background, the system creates a background jobs. Okay. So what it means is you go to, let's say, SC38 and let's say you execute this transaction program. Secure the selection criteria, then you can go and see if I go and hit the execute icon here, that means I'm executing this program in the foreground. But I can go to program and execute this program in the background also. Okay, so the program is scheduled to run in the background. So background jobs can be scheduled by systems administrators, but there are other transactions. Like any transaction you take, any program, a report you execute, where the user could be prompted to execute something in the dialog or the background. If the user chooses background, like execute from background, then the system creates a background job. Okay. Now, how do you check the background job? You can check the background job logs using the transaction SM37. So let's go and see the program that we did with checking. So let's go and execute this program and enter a user ID, let's say this, and go and execute it in the background mode, for example. So go to background, need to create a printer first, it doesn't exist. So when you start creating a background job, it will ask you to define the background job definition settings. For example, you can, if you want to immediately run the job, you can click on immediate. If you want to run that job in a specific time, date and time, you can specify the date and time. Okay, so let's go on immediate. Then you can also say periodic job. If you want to run this job periodically, without you having to recreate the job again and again, you can create the periodic, check this box, and you can specify the periodic values here. At what interval you should run, every hour, every day, every week. Okay, let's save it. So the background job was scheduled for program RSUSR 002. So we can check this log, check the status of that background job using the transaction SM37. So got finished. Okay. So if you go check the log, job log, it will tell you what happened, if there was any problem or it was successfully printed or not. Or if you go to spool, this is the spool, because the printer doesn't exist, that's why it says waiting. The printer that we gave LP01 is not a valid printer, so that's why it's still waiting. Otherwise you can see the contents of that report. This would have been your output if you had done it in the foreground. Okay, now these are some of the things that are controlled. Okay, and the activities within SM36, like for example, I can now delete this job, I can release a job. These are all systems administration functionalities. Okay, there are some objects which control that, and we'll see what those objects are. So you should consider the following issues for background jobs. Okay, can the users release their own background jobs or only create background jobs? Okay, why is this important? Because as a user, why should I be allowed to release the jobs that you created? Right? Why should I, as a user, should be allowed to delete your jobs? Right? Now, which user master records are used for execution of the background jobs? Okay, who executes, which user ID is used to execute the job? Because ultimately for executing the jobs also you need authorizations, right? So to successfully execute the job, the user who executes it should have proper authorizations. So that is also important, who executes it. So you can create a job, but you can say her ID is the ID who executes that job. Okay. Now, which users can monitor background jobs and what access do they have to background jobs? Like SM37. Which users have typically have access to SM37, and once they get into SM37, what can they do in that transaction code? Can they delete a job? They can reschedule a job. Can they make a copy of the job? Okay. Now the primary transaction used to create a background job is SM36. The transaction SM37 is used to monitor the background jobs. Okay. So SM36 and SM37 are again very critical transaction codes. Not everybody has access to SM36, but every user should get access to SM37. But once they get access to SM37, you have to put proper controls in place. For example, they cannot view or they cannot work with the jobs created by other people. Okay, in SM37, which means they cannot go and release somebody else's job. They cannot go and delete somebody else's job. Okay, so SM37 is an important one from that standpoint. SM36 is important because you can schedule the job. You can typically tell the system to run what technically you can tell the system to run whatever program you want it to run in the background by defining a job. Okay. Now, so for securing the background job, there are three main objects mainly, okay? And there is a fourth one, IS_RZL_ADM. But the three main objects are S_BTCH_job, S_BTCH_NAM, S_BTCH_ADM. These are the three main objects as far as background jobs are concerned. Okay? And we'll see what these three objects are.